history with PCS goes back way back to 1997, when it was then known as PMES, and they decided that we're going to offer an accounting course to students that were interested. For myself, having done tax returns since 1994, for me it was a no-brainer to join up with the course.
I have known Yakov for approximately 30 years. We've davened in shul together, and over the years I've seen how he transitioned to be what he is today. Yakov, we're here tonight to honor you as the Employer of the Year. I can't express with enough gratitude what you have done for so many of our students.
I'd like to say I remember the interview that I took with Yakov, but I don't even know if there was an interview. Heshi Donath, a classmate of ours, pulled me into the office, and before I knew it, I was working on tax returns. Spent a good few years there, really quality years with Yakov, and I'm very appreciative of that, and during which I learned a number of things. I learned how to get an earned income credit for somebody with a Kilo check the right way. I learned how somebody can blast Piamenta and still do tax returns and end up with a quality product. And I also learned who Jerry Kuzman is. But in all seriousness, I learned from Yakov a lot more than that. I went from somebody who was barely out of yeshiva. I don't even remember if I knew how to write an email, and I had these fuzzy accounting concepts we learned in the course. The course was great, but to apply it was a whole nother story. And Yakov took me to a whole nother level after a few years, so that when I moved into Wise and Mazars, which is where I am today, I was really able to hit the ground running.
Mr. Kanarik is being honored tonight for a great cause. I know that the internship I did at Kanarik & Company was a great stepping stone for me to move on. Mr. Kanarik was a great mentor. I learned a lot from him, and I was able to use that experience to move on to Deloitte, where I currently work.
My relationship with PCS continued after my practice began to grow, and I realized that I needed some outside help. PCS continued with the accounting course, and the graduates that they kept on churning out were all bright, ambitious, and for me it was a no-brainer to take a couple of them as an interns.
We have to thank Yakov. He's opened up his business to take in as many internships as space allows him, and giving the younger light an opportunity of a lifetime. After they've been with him for a few months, they're very marketable, and many of them have gone on to get the biggest and the best jobs possible.
I was fortunate enough to start my career as an intern at Kanarik & Company. The constant experience that I am gaining is all thanks to Yakov Kanarik. You have allowed me to apply my academic achievement in an actual work environment.
From an employee's perspective, the level of trust and confidence that he had in us was something that you don't find other places. I remember walking in 2 weeks into the job into tax season, and I find a stack of tax returns sitting on my desk. And there were federals, states. I go to him, Yakov, I've never done this in my life. I know you have all this trust in me, but what do you want? And typical, he looks at me and says, it can't be harder than a Taisis, go make a laning. And obviously everything was reviewed beforehand, but that's how he brought us up to speed, and that was the trust and confidence that he had in us. And that was, for me, was a great springboard for me to be able to get to that level and move on.
He single-handedly either interned or hired 21 of our students. 21 of our students.
I have since taken in at least 20 interns that have found jobs in major accounting firms throughout the New York, New Jersey area. In addition, I have 4 original interns are now working for me as full-time employees.
Many years ago, Yakov used to work in Brooklyn, and he schlepped in an hour and a half to Roth, I think it was, Roth & Company. And he told me that he made a deal with the Rabbeinu Shalom. He said that if you get me a job in Lakewood and I don't have to schlep into Brooklyn, I'll take that time that I would have been driving and I'll learn. And when I left, which was a number of years ago, that wasn't 1 or 2 years after he stopped working in Brooklyn, and he still maintained that seder every day during the driving time that he would have been driving to Brooklyn. He sat and learned.
Working for Yakov's a great guy, and there are a lot of great things that I was able to pick up from him. And just watching him deal with all the clients on a day-to-day basis. Every single person had a different situation based on their financial position. And just him giving the time for them to present themselves, the patience that he gave them, the clarity and his advice to every single person is something that I've taken and I put into practice still to this day.
Yaakov also deals with people, a real big mensch to deal with on a daily basis, and he's running a business. But by him, it's not a matter about making a buck. You know, he runs a business, but being a mensch definitely is priority. And the last thing that I want to just tell Yaakov is that I give him a bracha. He should continue to have a lot of atzlacha from his business and continue to take that effort to hire the PCS graduates, which is something that's very near and dear to him, something that he tries very hard to do, and just continue to be a role model for people to look up to of what somebody in the Ben Torah in the business field should be.
I too would like to congratulate Yaakov Kanarik on being tonight's honoree for all that he's done for PCS and its graduates in ensuring their thriving and success with regard to their accounting careers and finding parnasa.
The staff at PCS and Mr. Kanarik, who takes of his own time to mentor his interns and to train them for their future careers, really make a real difference in our future parnasa.
You are an example of an employer and mentor every employee wishes for. Thank you and continued hatzlacha upon your well-deserved honor.
For me, it was a great opportunity to be offered a position with Kanarik & Company to start my career over there.
The Rambam says that the highest level of tzedakah is finding somebody parnasa. Yaakov, I'd like to wish you that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should pay you back midah keneged midah and give you parnasa b'revach.